Welcome back to our series on integration and normalization. In video 9a, you learned about the normalization principle and why employment is a valued social role. You understand the philosophical foundation. Now we're going to get practical. Today we're talking about competitive integrated employment, what it actually means, what it looks like, and why segregated settings fail to achieve the goals of normalization. Segment 1. What is competitive integrated employment? Competitive integrated employment has a specific definition. This isn't just jargon, it's the standard that guides policy, funding, and best practice. The three components. Competitive integrated employment means Component 1, competitive wages. The employee is paid at or above minimum wage, and wages are comparable to what workers without disabilities earn for similar work at the same location. This rules out sub-minimum wage certificates. If someone is earning less than minimum wage because of their disability, that's not competitive employment. Component 2, integrated setting. The employee works in a setting where they interact with people without disabilities other than personnel providing services to the same extent that employees without disabilities interact with others. They have opportunities for advancement similar to employees without disabilities in comparable positions. Component 3. Real job in the community. The work is performed at a location where employees without disabilities also work. It's a real business, not a facility that only employs people with disabilities. Why this standard matters? This definition exists because for decades people with disabilities were placed in segregated work settings that were called employment, but didn't reflect real employment. They worked in sheltered workshops sorting donated items, packaging products, or doing contract work, always separated from workers without disabilities, often earning pennies per hour. These settings didn't provide the benefits of real employment. No competitive wages or benefits, no career advancement, no integration with co-workers without disabilities, no valued social roles, no pathway to typical employment. The competitive integrated employment standard ensures that when we say someone is employed, we mean they have a real job that provides real benefits. Segment 2. Quality indicators for integrated employment. Researchers have identified specific quality indicators for supported employment programs. One of the most important is Indicator 9, Integration and Community Participation. Here's what it says. Supported employees work in a job that facilitates physical and social interaction with co-workers. Employees are also satisfied with their job. Let's break that down. Physical integration. Physical integration means the employee is in the same space as co-workers without disabilities. They're not working in a separate room, a back area away from other employees, a different shift where they rarely see co-workers, a facility or program designated only for people with disabilities. They're working alongside co-workers in the normal flow of business. Example of good physical integration. An employee stocks shelves at a grocery store during regular business hours. They work the same aisles as other stockers. They're in the break room at the same time as other employees. They see and are seen by customers and co-workers throughout their shift. Example of poor physical integration. An employee cleans a restaurant, but only comes in after hours when the restaurant is closed. They never interact with restaurant staff or customers. They might be in the community, but they're not integrated as social integration. Social integration is more complex than physical integration. It means the employee interacts with co-workers without disabilities in meaningful ways. This includes casual conversation during work, interactions during breaks and lunch, being included in workplace social events, receiving help and support from co-workers, not just the job coach, being asked for help or input by co-workers. Social integration doesn't happen automatically just because someone is physically present. It requires intentional facilitation. Job satisfaction. Integration isn't just about where someone works or who they interact with, it's also about whether they find the work meaningful and satisfying. Quality Indicator 9 includes job satisfaction because integration without satisfaction isn't success. Job coaches should regularly check in. Does the employee enjoy their work? Do they feel valued and respected? Are they proud of what they do? Would they recommend this job to a friend? If the answer to these questions is no, then the placement isn't successful, even if it meets the technical definition of integrated employment. Segment 3, place-train model versus simulated environments. Now let's talk about where and how people learn job skills. This is where many programs still get it wrong. The old model, train place. Historically, people with disabilities went through a continuum of services. They started in a day program or sheltered workshop. They practiced provocational skills in simulated environments. If they demonstrated competence, they might eventually be placed in a community job. This was called the train place model. Train first in a segregated setting, then place in the community. The problem? It didn't work. Here's why training in simulated environments doesn't prepare people for real jobs. Reason 1. Different equipment and supplies. Learning to clean a motel room in a simulated environment is not the same experience as cleaning a room at a local hotel. The supplies are different, the layout is different, the expectations are different. Reason 2. Different supervision. In a training program, you're supervised by staff who understand disabilities and are patient. In a real job, you're supervised by a boss who has production standards and time pressures. Reason 3. Different pace and culture. Training programs move at a training pace. Real workplaces move at a business pace. The culture, rhythm, and expectations are completely different. Reason 4. No generalization. People with intellectual disabilities often have trouble with generalization, taking what they learned in practice sessions and applying it to real situations. When they learn in a simulated environment, they have to relearn everything when they get to a real job. Time spent in the simulated setting is a lost wage-earning time. Reason 5. No real social integration. You can't learn workplace social skills by practicing with other people with disabilities and staff. You learn them by working alongside co-workers without disabilities. Supported employment flipped the model. It's called place train. Place first, help the person get a real job in a real community business. Train on the job. Provide intensive support and training in the actual workplace, using the actual equipment with the actual supervisors and co-workers. This is considered the place train model. It assumes the best place to learn employment skills is in real paid work settings. Why this works? The person learns exactly what they need for this job. They're learning in the environment where they'll actually work. They're building relationships with real co-workers from day one. They're earning wages while learning. Skills are immediately applicable. No generalization needed. They're seen as employees, not trainees. Your role as a job coach. Your job is to implement the place train model. You don't wait until someone is ready for employment. You help them get employed and provide intensive support so they can learn on the job. You fade your support over time as the employee becomes more independent and as natural supports develop. But you start with employment, not with preparation for employment. Segment 4. Creating true integration at work. Physical presence in a community workplace doesn't automatically equal integration. You have to facilitate it intentionally. Barriers to integration. Several things can prevent true integration even in community settings. Barrier 1. The job coach becomes a physical barrier. If you're constantly between the employee and their co-workers, you prevent natural communication. Co-workers direct questions to you instead of to the employee. Barrier 2. The job coach becomes the primary relationship. If the employee only talks to you, eats lunch with you, and relies on you for all support, they're not integrated. They're isolated with you in the middle of a workplace. Barrier 3. The employee is treated as the special program. If the employer views the supported employee as part of a program or service rather than as a regular employee, that employee won't be fully integrated into workplace culture. Barrier 4. Different training methods. If the job coach provides all training instead of supporting the employer to train the employee as they would any new hire, the employee is set apart as different. Barrier 5. Separate workspace or different schedule. If the employee works alone in a back room or comes in when no one else is there, integration is impossible. Strategies for true integration. Here's how you facilitate integration. Strategy 1. Fade your physical presence strategically. Start close to provide intensive support, then move back, stand across the room, work in a different area, eventually leave the building. Make yourself less and less prominent so the employee becomes more prominent. Strategy 2. Facilitate relationships between the employee and co-workers. Introduce the employee to co-workers. Highlight shared interests. Create opportunities for natural conversation. Then step back and let relationships develop. Strategy 3. Support the employer to train as they normally would. Ask the employer, how do you typically train new employees? Then support them to use that same process with this employee, providing accommodations or modifications as needed. Don't replace the employer's training, enhance it. Strategy 4. Teach the employee to seek help from co-workers. Instead of answering every question yourself, teach the employee to ask co-workers. Let's ask your supervisor together. Then fade to, go ask your supervisor and I'll be right here. Strategy 5. Follow the employer's routines. The employee should clock in like other employees, attend meetings like other employees, take breaks when other employees take breaks, and follow all the same routines. Don't create special routines or accommodations unless absolutely necessary. Strategy 6. Support participation in workplace culture. If there's a potluck, help the employee participate. If there's a staff meeting, they should attend. Facilitate inclusion if the employee wants to participate. Work isn't just tasks, it's culture and community. Support the employee to be part of that. What success looks like. You know integration is happening when co-workers greet the employee by name. Co-workers ask the employee questions directly. The employee receives help from co-workers, not just you. The employee is included in workplace social activities. The employer treats the employee the same as other employees. You can step away and things continue smoothly. That's the goal. Real integration, real belonging,